See, Homer, bottom line is I earned my World Series ring. I went to Yankee Stadium this past summer. They hooked me up with
Mm-mm.
this lovely rock, kid. I earned it, baby. What you
That's
got?
so cute, man. But why is it silver? Shouldn't it be gold like the '98 ring?
Oh, damn, man. Oh, man, you got me on that.
Hey, what did Meek Mill say? Meek Mill say there are different levels to this thing, man.
I hear. So, pretty much what we say in New York, mine's a Fugazi compared to yours. Is that what you're saying?
I love it. I love it. Yeah.
Well, everybody, welcome Homer Bush, former Yankee, former World Series champion, 1998. So happy to have you here. Your smile is contagious. No wonder why your wife fell in love with you so quickly. Look at you.
What it do, baby? What it do, man? Thanks for having me.
Oh, I appreciate that. So, Homer, let's talk about your high school days. You went to this high school called East St. Louis High in St. Louis, Missouri. Is that what I'm assuming?
It's actually Illinois, on the Illinois side, but East St. Louis High.
Oh, wait, it's in Eastern Illinois. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Uh huh.
Oh, okay. So you went to that high school. Do you realize you have six former Major League Baseball players that went there, including the one I think he's in the Hall of Fame, Hank Bauer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You also had five former NFL players. You
Okay.
also
Okay.
had a track star, Jackie Joyner, and you had the crazy tennis guy, Jimmy Connors, tennis Hall of
I
Fame.
do some East Boogie. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah,
So,
I was definitely familiar with Jackie Joyner.
uh-huh.
And the football player that I'm familiar with is Brian Cox. Used to play. Actually, matter of fact, did he play with the Jets?
I don't even know that name. How long was that? I mean, was that?
He's a linebacker back in the late '90s, early 2000s. Oh, dude, he was
Mm,
mean,
I,
mean.
I should know that name, huh? I'm horrible, but anyway, no, I don't know that name.
Yeah, yeah.
So, Homer, here's my question: When
Okay.
you went to, when you played high school baseball, but it sounds like what I read up on you, you were much better of a football player. Is that true?
Yeah, 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 man. I used to mess around a little bit. Dude, I got lucky in high school
Uh
because I
huh.
had a really good high school football coach,
Okay.
Robert Shannon. And man, I had some skills, but he was able to take my talent to another level.
But he also mentioned in his book about you that you were the go-to guy, man. You were that guy, man. Rushing, receiving, with you know.
Yeah. Now I tell you why that's special because we had some serious talent on that team. I mean, we
Mm.
had a two running backs, Chris Moore, Jerry Creer. Man, we had young quarterback in DeAndre Singleton. Dude, our backup quarterback could have started for any other high school programs in the city. I mean, so we were loaded with talent, and so for him to feed me the ball the way he did my senior year was pretty cool.
So now, but let me ask you this, Homer. You also had an offer to go to University of Missouri. Is that true?
Yes, yes, uh-huh.
So what other colleges were recruiting you that were like, yo, listen, come play for me, my man?
Oh my gosh, dude, I could have pretty much gone anywhere in the country. No, straight up. It
Oh
was
man, I love it, baby. You
yeah,
gotta be straight up with me, kid. Go ahead.
yeah. All right, so I was a huge Cowboys fan. So uh, Tony Dorsett was one of my favorites. So I wanted to go to Pitt.
Uh huh.
So I took my visit to Pitt. But then I realized quickly we didn't have the funds for my
Right.
mom to fly me back and forth home, so I was going to get stuck, right?
Uh huh. Go ahead.
So I went to Pitt, K State. Oh, you're gonna love this. Then I did Mizzou, Illinois.
Uh huh.
Those are programs that were close by. But then my fifth visit was to Eastern Illinois, where my wife went,
Oh.
and I had an opportunity to spend the weekend with her. I mean, my college recruiting visits were just crazy, man.
Wow, that's all.
But yeah, I mean, dude, I still have like, man, I saw a letter from gosh, Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, it was just business as usual. Huge box of mail, like, hey, come to my program, come to my program. Yeah, yeah, it was crazy.
Homer, you were that good in football, huh?
Well, actually, I think I still hold two state records that are current today, if I'm not
Wow.
mistaken. Yeah,
So
one for sure.
okay, so then what made you pick baseball then? Like, who told you, or was it on your own? You know what I mean? Like, who gave you that? Who helped you with
Great
that
question.
decision?
Well, football was something I did because we were always ranked nationally in high school.
Mm-hmm.
But baseball, I had played ever since I was a little young shorty. Like, man, baseball is the sport I played in the backyard. Myself and 7, 8 other guys would go on, the next block and play 7 or 8 other kids, right? So
Mm-hmm.
playing baseball was something that was just in me.
Oh,
But I did the whole football thing once I got to high school, just because it was cool to do, and end up having some success. That's all. But always wanted to get drafted.
and you got drafted in the 7th round by the San Diego Padres, right?
Yes, yes. Um,
How much
dude, I'm
was your
telling
signing? How much was your signing contract back then? I want to hear this.
you,
In 1991.
it's not even close to what it was. What they're being paid during these days. But I think I got like 42 grand cash plus schooling. I think in schooling back then they gave me like 30 grand, so it was like 72 grand total.
What'd you do with that first? What'd you do with that signing first? What'd you buy first exactly? I want to hear. Don't tell me you bought a car, man.
No, 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 no. It was a car was in play because we needed a car for the house, but
That's
I
true.
did buy one, but it wasn't the first thing I bought. Man, you know what? I think it was just helping moms pay bills. It was, man, I tell you that 30 grand after taxes was only in the 20s, so it didn't go very far.
So okay. So you helped your mama pay bills. Okay, I get it. You're a good son. Okay.
Yeah.
So you get drafted. Actually, that 1991 year, I think Brian Taylor was the first pick.
I remember he was big time. I can't remember the actual year, but yeah.
Yeah, that year, the same year as you did. It's either 90 or 91. It's between those 2 years, but he didn't go anywhere. I think he had a fight at a bar while he was an A ball, or double A, and he was gone. That's it. Career shot. So
Yeah.
you think about it, that first rounder back then. I'm imagining. I mean, Jeter got in 1992. I think he got an $800,000.
Yeah, because I was about to say, I know they were in the 7-figure range back then, but
right.
I think Ty Van Poppel and Chipper Jones were some of the big money guys, right?
Exactly. So now you get drafted, but then you say to yourself, should I go or should I play football, right? Were you thinking like that?
No chance, big time. Man, as much as I love school and education, man, I wanted to go play baseball every day, right? I want to wake up every day, practice, and get ready to try to prepare, for my road to the major league. So it really wasn't a tough decision.
Mm-hmm.
I was just hoping that they didn't draft me like back then. I think there was something like 80, 90 rounds, right? I was just hoping they didn't draft me really late.
Right.
Then I probably would have gone and played football. But when it was anything within inside the 10 rounds, I was gone.
Right. When you were in the minor leagues, did you have a job? Did you have a part-time job?
Absolutely, dude. I worked at a friend of mine. A friend of mine had the hookup.
Okay.
His sister was like a manager at a shoe carnival. Have you ever heard of shoe carnival?
No, what's that?
It's like a shoe department store. And
we didn't have that in New York. Sorry.
I know, yeah. Huge in the Midwest, right?
Mm-hmm.
But dude, I worked at shoe carnival. Gosh, I worked at there was a family-owned department store called Grandpa's. I worked there. Oh man, dude, it was crazy. One of the things I used to have to do was, like when you go to the grocery store, guys are gathering carts and bringing them in. Man, I was out winning batting titles in the minor leagues, and then I have to come home.
Oh my God!
And gather carts on the off season. Oh, it was crazy, man.
Well, I mean, think about it. Like, if someone told you, "Hey, what?" Like when you meet friends at the job, they're like, "Hey, what do you do? What else do you do?" You're like, "Listen, I'm not in college, but I play minor league baseball." They're like, "Huh? What are you doing here?" Right? They tell you that.
Absolutely, all the time. There were some people that I worked with because, like, in the middle of my career, towards the tail end, I was having some serious success. Won like minor league player of the year for the Padres.
Mm-hmm.
Then I would also go to Winter Ball. I was winning awards over there, and so there would be articles written on me in the local paper, and people would bring the papers into work, and a couple guys even brought baseball cards, and they're like, "Man, what are you doing here?"
Right.
Got to pay the bills, baby. Got to pay the bills.
Well, that's the thing. What people don't understand: when you played minor league baseball, how much did you make a month? Like $600?
It was a little bit more than that. The first year was like $850. It was a little bit more than $600.
Oh, hold on a minute. $850 in 4 weeks. Oh my
I
God!
know. I know. Hey, I tell you, it was a grind. It was a grind, right? Hey, it's not for the weak. It's not for the weak. I can tell you that.
But okay, so pretty much you guys, especially those bus rides. Oh my God, they were long, right? Especially double A.
Yeah, yeah. Dude, the blessing for me was this. I very rarely traveled as a youngster, so having the opportunity to go to different states and cities and play in these ballparks that, especially on the weekends where they were packed, man, it was cool to me. I was cool with it. I enjoyed it, right? So, that was the silver lining, that I didn't mind the bus trips and I didn't mind the crowds.
Because you're in a uniform. You're a pro baseball player, so you appreciate it. No wonder why you still have that same smile, man.
Dude, man, I loved everything about it. I will admit, I was unique, and I share this with my son all the time. It's like, man, I enjoy the process, and usually that's what bothers a lot of
Yeah.
young players. If they're not in the majors by year 4 or year 5, they usually go do something different. Man, the minor league development process was perfect for a guy like myself.
So Homer, so how did you get traded when you found out? Hey, you got traded to the New York Yankees. What
hmm
was
hmm
it during your minor leagues or was it in the big leagues?
I was in the minor leagues. I was in AAA actually.
Mm-hmm.
And we all knew about the big deal between the Padres and Yankees
Right.
because Hideki Arabu didn't want to play for the Padres.
Okay.
It was just a matter of the Padres sending the right players to the Yankees and the Yankees sending and the right amount of monies that was coming as well. So that was some logistics. Well, we no one knew who was going to be in the trade.
Right. Right.
And then just one day, Peter Gammons was huge back during those
Oh
times.
yeah. Oh yeah.
And Peter Gammons broke with breaking news. Padres and Yankees completed the trade, and myself, young man by the name of Vernon Wells, a couple other young prospects, and $3 million cash was all involved.
Wait. Vernon Wells, you said?
Yeah, but it was a different Vernon Wells. It was
Oh.
another young man.
Oh.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Wow. So then now,
I knew you was gonna say that too.
yeah, I'm like, hold on, Vernon Wells, man. That was a five. That was almost a 5'2" player right there,
Oh, dude,
right?
Vernon was good.
And he could cover the outfield. He could cover a lot of real estate. So
Dude,
you got called up, right? And
right?
then when did you get called up exactly? Was it like midsummer?
It was actually it was that year. Later in that year, it was close to September, because what happened was that, the Yankees were postseason bound every year back then.
What the hell's calling me at this time? Hold on a minute. Let me decline it. Go ahead, say it again. So that year, go ahead.
So the Yankees were postseason bound, right? So when I came over, it was like I don't know, May or June, something like that.
Uh huh.
They sent me to Columbus for a couple months. So what the Yankees wanted to do was see what they had in me. I think I
Uh
got
huh.
like right before they set the rosters for the postseason. So I think back then, I don't know if it's changed at all. Late August, early September. If you weren't on the roster by then, they couldn't add you. Something weird like that.
Right.
So they called me up and gave me a cup of coffee, just to see what I can do, and that's how I got my call up. Interesting note about that was Darryl Strawberry was in AAA rehabbing, and we were on the road in Pawtucket, and we flew from Pawtucket to Yankee Stadium together.
Oh wow. So did Daryl give you any tips? Like, hey, Homer, this is what it's like in the big leagues.
Oh, well, not so much the big leagues. He was just like, Homer. He's like, you going to the Big Apple, baby. He was like, man, don't be afraid of the Big Apple, man. He's like, you're an awesome young man. Keep your nose clean. Play hard. They're gonna love you. Those are
So Homer,
his exact words.
so when you entered Yankee Stadium, right? You're going through the tunnel. I mean,
Yeah.
no, hold on. I wanna paint the picture right now to our
Okay.
viewers. All right.
Okay.
I'm sure that
Okay.
the car picks you up, right?
Start with going past security to get into the stadium first.
No, hold on. No. I want people to feel this first. You
Okay.
drive it. You have a driver, right? The travel
Yeah.
secretary sends you a driver. Once you get near the stadium, all right, over the highway, the Major Deegan, you see Yankee Stadium, Homer.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
it, man. You're not a fan. You're not a fan. You are a ball player, baby.
Yeah.
Think about
Yeah.
that. You're a ball player. When that car goes into that stadium, baby, give me that feeling.
Dude, stomach was in knots. I mean, like, dude, I had this like real nervous feeling. Like, man, just wanting to know what it was going to be like on the other side of the door, right? And man, I promise you, big time. Whew, when I went in, got dressed, it had that old school feel to it, low ceilings.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I got dressed. I hurried and got dressed and went down to the field. And if you, I don't know if you've ever gone onto the field from
Yeah.
like where the players.
Yeah. I've been there. Yeah.
So you go down and then you come up those few little steps, dude. It's like this. It just opens up, man. Like you could just feel the energy in that old Yankee Stadium. It was crazy.
And what was it like going to that clubhouse and you see your name, Bush, H. Bush or Homer Bush? You got a uniform, pinstripe, man. You're in the big leagues, brother. This is the big leagues. You can't go further than this.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, come on now. Who welcomed you first? Who was like, hey, buddy, man, welcome. Come here.
Dude, I can't remember. Dude, I cannot remember. But one thing I do remember was I had spent some time with Tim Raines in AAA. And when I saw him again, it was like, you made it. He's always called me young brother. You made it, young brother. You made it, young brother. Man. So,
oh my God.
Yeah. That's something I remember. But everybody was cool. The one thing I always, when I speak about the Yankees and my experience with the Yankees, it's all about just business. It's guys weren't cliquish.
Right.
They wanted you to be comfortable. They wanted you to know your role. I mean, it was the perfect situation for someone to go in and just do your job. I know that's one of Bill Belichick's biggest sayings is "do your job." That's what it's like to be a Yankee. Just know what your role is and do it.
So now you got it's in 1997, right? Did you remember what month you got called up?
It was August, I believe.
August. Okay, so now you're taking BP, but as the time clicks, 7:05 start, or maybe 7:30 back then, and it's like now you see a crowd. Did you take that in? You're looking around. You're like, oh my God, I'm here, man. I'm here, yo. I'm in the big leagues, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, I was taking it in, no doubt.
And then, when did you? Now, your first at bat, it was in Oakland, right? You guys flew to Oakland. All right. Now, I'm going to show viewers your first at bat right here, okay? And it was so awesome because you actually went with the pitch, man. Did you pinch hit for Jeter at the time, or did you start that game?
No, I came in. We was blowing Oakland out, and was like, man, he was like, go get Jeter. I was like, all right.
All right, so check this out. Here's the video of your first at bat. It was so awesome to watch and then the aftermath and everything. Here we go. All right, you ready, Homer?
Yes.
All right, here we go.
For the first time, of course, he was involved.
So there's Jeter right there on the bench.
Derek Jeter getting some time off, but he needs it. Homer acquired in the.
Oh, look at that! Go with the pitch. Look at that. Okay, but here's how I'm gonna reprimand your ass right here. How come you did that second right there, man? Well, what's going on? The guy at third scored.
But you know what? First of all, we were blowing him out. But more importantly, I was just enjoying the hit.
I know. But look at Jeter. Look at that. That's only his second year in the big leagues, and he's the first one out of the dugout, giving you props. Now, hold up, Homer. That moment right there, all right? You see how you lifting your legs, stretching your legs? Were you thinking about robbing a base?
Oh, no chance. No.
Okay, all right.
Well, remember, I'm nervous, right? That was probably just some nervous movements. That's all.
That was unbelievable, man. Your first big league. What happened afterwards? The guys are like, "Hey, Homer, you got one, right?"
Yeah, because I believe at that point I was probably 0 for 2 or 0 for 3, something. It felt like I was never going to get a hit.
And who was the pitcher for Oakland? Every big league, my man Louis Lopez, he used to play in the big leagues for a little bit. He asked the question on Facebook, who was the pitcher for Oakland that you hit? You got the hit off.
Don Wingard is who I believe it is.
Okay, Don Wingard. That's your question.
Yeah, yeah.
Here's another thing, Homer. That year, '97, I think Boomer was on the team. David Wells, right?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah. So in '97, who were you close with the Yanks? Like, who was your guy that you would go out with dinner with? You know what I mean? Who was that guy?
Dude, myself, Jeter, and Posada. We used to go to like the mall and to eat together and to the movies.
Mm-hmm.
But like, man, I didn't go out. I never went. I hardly ever went to the clubs.
Well, forget the clubs. Let's just say like going out for dinner, just regular, you know?
Yeah, yeah. It was myself, Jeter, and Posada.
But no, here's the thing. You guys are the New York Yankees. The year before that, you won the World Series, right? Wherever you go, people know who you guys are, right? You're like, yo, you know, if you're going out to a lounge, a club, or whatever, people know who you are, right? That's how it is.
Oh yeah, no doubt. But I tell you something crazy. When doing that road trip, I believe we were in Anaheim and we went to the mall.
Mm-hmm.
Myself, Jeter, and Posada. We're in a music store.
Uh-huh.
And I hear a young lady scream, "Oh my God, there's Derek Jeter!" And I was looking around. I was like, "Whoa, bro!" People came from everywhere. I mean, that's when I realized Derek Jeter was a little bit different than everybody else. Because remember, this is just '97.
That's just second year, right?
Well, yeah, that was '97 when this happened. And his first full year in the big leagues was what, '96, wasn't it?
Yeah, '96, year before that.
Yeah. So he'd only been in the big leagues for about a year and a half at this point. But bro, he was popular even back then. And it's his second year, yeah. And for me, he was just Derek Jeter. I knew he was starting shortstop, and there's some popularity that came with that.
Mm-hmm.
But when I witnessed that, I said, this dude is different.
So he has a special presence about him, right, Homer? Like when you get to know him, he's kind of quiet. What I feel like he's a quiet guy, but he knows once he steps on that diamond, it's business. It's all about the W, and that's it, right?
Absolutely. Dude, one of the most focused and disciplined players I've ever been around.
Right, yeah. I mean, excellent ball player, you know? And, you know, this guy also made 56 errors in the Sal League. Back in the days. Can you imagine, you know, being in the minor leagues? Your head must be down. You'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe this, right? People, you know, this game is so mental. You got to be mentally strong, man. Right, Homer?
Yes and no. You know, like, for a player that gets $800,000 coming out of high school, you really don't want to make 50-some errors, but they're going to give you time to develop big time. And you know, Jeter was doing all right offensively, so he was buying himself some time. He was going to be all right.
But if it was a seventh rounder that made 56 errors, you tell me where's he at right now?
He's in trouble, big time.
Right, exactly.
He's in trouble, big time. Yeah.
So, Homer, when did you get married? Was it your high school sweetheart? When's the time? How'd you meet your wife? Was it during the big league?
Sweetheart, man. Okay. And dude, I tell you what, this young lady's the real deal, man. She was with me, of course, in high school, throughout the minors. We tell this funny story. When I was in the minors, she used to make more money than I did, and I think she had made like, I don't know, $19,000 or something for the year. I was coming in at like a hard 12K.
Mm-hmm.
So so she was with the old boy through, man, all the rough times, and man, so it was just only fitting that, you know, we just get married, have kids, and do the whole white picket fence thing.
Yeah, that's great. So now, 97, you guys got eliminated by the Cleveland Indians. Alomar hits that bomb. You know, it's over. Let's go to 98 now. What did Joe Torre say in spring training right at the beginning of that year?
You know, I can't remember, but one thing I do always remember about the Yankees was like, the speeches would be, hey, you know the goal. The goal is to win a championship.
That's what he said exactly. Win the championship.
Oh yeah. Oh, everyone knew that. Especially '98 when they were called Murderers Row. Oh, I mean, we were built to win the championship in '98. And you hear all the time, if you don't win a championship, it's a failure.
Mhm.
98 was a great example of that.
And you guys started off shitty in the beginning of the year, right? I mean, you guys were in the West Coast, started like 3-4. People are dogging you guys. The media is like, "What the hell is this?" And all of a sudden, it just changed, right?
Oh, dude, yeah, and we heard about it too, by the way. I think we went 0-2, 0-3, or something like that before we got our first win. But yeah, the pressure was on from day one.
Exactly. And then, where did you live in New York City?
Man, I lived. I was there 3 different times. Fort Lee. Edgewater.
Uh-huh.
Dude, one time I lived in the city when Chili Davis got hurt in '98.
Uh-huh.
They sent him down to Tampa to rehab. Dude, he gave me and my wife his $7,000 a month apartment.
And he said, "Got it. Don't worry about it."
Dude, he gave me car service,
Oh my God.
dry cleaning service, everything. I mean, dude, he was like, "Here, man, your mama, go ahead and, man, live it up."
You know what? That's such a great feeling, Homer, from veterans like Chili Davis, who I think is currently the Mets batting instructor right now, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. But
yeah,
just the fact that these veterans, they understand, they've been there before. They know what it's like being a rookie or with minimum wage, and it's like, where do I find a place to live? Just for your viewers to let you know, when a guy does get called up, he stays in a hotel for 7 days, but then they find you a place, right? Is that how it is? The travel secretary hooks you up?
Yes. Yep.
Right. So Chili Davis hooked you up. So now you're living a life. You're like, damn, minimum wage. All right, I'll take this, right?
Dude, and the story gets better because Jeter used to pick me up on the way to the field and take me home. Dude, I was living the life in '98.
So 1998, you knew your role, right? You were pretty much a backup utility, right? You played second, short, and third, right?
Yes.
All right. So now I want to go to your first home run as a Yankee. All right. Let's look at this one right here. All right, Homer. Let's look back in '98. Look at the chemistry you guys had, and look at the group of veterans in the dugout. I mean, that's crazy. Tim Raines, Darryl Strawberry. I mean, you guys had studs, man. Here it is. Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Look at that. But hold on a minute. Let me rewind that a little bit. So let me get the hit real quick. Here it is. Watch this. Oh! Oh, wood! Oh, my God. Look at that. Look at Tim Raines in the dugout. I look at the little details. Look at the little details. All right? Watch that. Look, you see Tim Raines bugging out? He's like, oh, that's why. I think Boomer's right there.
Yeah. So, funny story about Tim Raines. Tim Raines, always say, "Oh man, you probably won't hit a home run this year." And that's why that's so funny, because he was like, "Dude, man, you can't go up top. Come on, man." Dude, I'm telling you, when I went up top, he was so happy for me.
Oh man. I mean, Homer, when you hit that home run, right? Well, you're like, damn, this is unbelievable, right? Like yeah. I can't believe I hit it out, right?
But no, I'm telling you, I was when I was rounding first base, probably between first base and second base, I remember saying to myself, "Dude, you just hit your first major league home run." Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I was pumped. I was pumped, dude.
And you know what? That pitch was up in the zone. Now, we talk about hitting, Homer, and you wrote a book about hitting. Your book is called Hitting Low in the Zone.
Yes.
Now, look, I seen you in your minor leagues. You hit high, man. You hit high 300s, right?
Yeah. I could put the bat on the ball, baby.
So, it was that the key? Just put the bat on the ball and see what happens, right?
Oh, absolutely. Speed was my game, so being able to put the ball in play was huge. But even though I did write a book on hitting low pitches, but when you're ahead in the count, hey, and you're looking fastball, the high zone is in play. But as far as my skill sets back then, I was literally just trying to, man, hit little low liners, make the position players go a couple steps to the right, to the left, and beat it out. That was a huge part to my game.
Yeah, so pretty much. But you knew your role because if you're going to try to hit for power, guess what? You're going to strike out. You're not going to put the ball in play, and then you might get a ticket back to AAA.
Absolutely.
That's how it works,
If I was
right?
going to survive in the big leagues, I had to put the bat on the ball.
Now, we look at the big leagues now. I don't think, they say, listen, you got power, hit it out. You strike out, we don't care. Just hit it out. Right? I mean,
yeah. I think this is just a little phase they're going through. It seems like it's a more efficient way to score runs, but I think that's going to change with time. But I will admit, I do believe in elevating the baseball.
So do you believe in getting on top of the ball, or do you believe in getting that slight uppercut?
Well, that's there's a natural arc that takes place when you're swinging the bat. So with that being said, there's going to be a slight uppercut to the ball.
You know what I believe in? There's always a slight uppercut to the ball.
Yes. I think sometimes the vernacular gets in the way of the actual actions. Like when someone say uppercut, like I don't teach go up there and uppercut, but I do believe you've got to have that nice little arc in the path.
So since you were a batting instructor in the minor leagues, analyze my swing right here. Tell me how this look, Homer, all right? Watch me in Yankees fantasy camp, just to let you guys know. That's how I met Homer face-to-face at Yankees fantasy camp. We clicked. I love him. So here it is, Homer. This is me at Yankee fantasy camp. All right, watch this, all right? Tell me.
Okay.
Look at that. Boom, right?
See, that's perfect. Like, man.
Okay,
you got a nice little arc in the swing.
All right, so look. I take the step, all right, and then boom. But see, my weight is still back right there.
Well,
right?
I'm only concerned about where the barrel is.
Okay.
If your barrel is out front, right there. See, that's perfect.
Yeah, but the thing, right? Barrel, the thing is you want to have that L, right? You want to have that L at contact. What I mean by that is like you want to be here at contact with the L. This is the letter L, I believe in. I think if you hit out
yeah.
If you hit out here too much, you're out front. You're going to be out front. You're going to be weak. It's the same thing as a boxer. If I'm trying to punch you like this, I'm not going to get you. But if I have that L, I got you, right? Is that the same thing?
You know what? I have not thought of it that way, but I like it. If that's what you're doing there,
yeah,
I like it.
So what I'm doing right here. So look, here's the mechanics right here. See that L right there? Can you see that?
Yeah.
Look, Homer. See that L right there, contact. So if you saw a guy like that at 44 years old, would you say, "Oh, this guy got some skills, right?"
at least on that one pitch, you do.
Oh, thanks, man. At least that one pitch, all right.
You got 7 outs to give me now.
Just for you viewers out there, we had a blast at Yankees fantasy camp. Look, right here, let me see, fantasy camp. So I was playing second against the Stars game. See, right there, I scooped it. I was playing second, right? You like that, right? And then I then I try to, like, punch you and get you out, but the umpire's like, no, he's safe. Sorry, Eddie, you're not getting there, right? Remember that?
First of all, I couldn't believe a left-hander was in the infield, but go ahead. Yeah.
Right, well, nobody was playing second. I was like, you know what? Let me play second, right? Hey, Mattingly did it one time.
Yeah. Did he, by the way?
Yeah, he did. He had one time he played the second bit, not a full game. He came in the 8th or 9th inning, one of those times,
Yeah. You can hide him for an inning.
So now, let's get to 98 again. You guys going to San Diego?
Yes.
You're all business, man. It's like, look, the goal was in spring training, the beginning of 98, win a title. That's what Joe Torre told you guys. When you guys won the World Series,
yeah,
where did you party? Where did you go? How much was the bill? Talk to me. Come on, open up.
Dude, you know what? We didn't really get down like that. It was literally the celebration was on the field, and I think a handful of guys hit the town a little bit, but for the most part, we had an early wake up because we had to fly back to New York. But man, before we talk about that, have you ever heard the story about when we left spring training? to go play San Diego at the beginning of the year where the bus almost tipped over.
What?
Yeah, dude.
Oh
So,
my God.
man, so Mr. Steinbrenner rented a plane from a sheik. So the plane could take off in the U.S., but it couldn't land in the U.S.
Oh.
So we land in Mexico.
Okay.
So, dude, it was the craziest thing. There were people everywhere on the sides of the roads cheering us on. It was an amazing feeling. But the bus driver on one of the buses, I can't remember if I think it was the player bus, where the bus somehow hit the median in the middle of the road, and the bus was leaning a little bit, and eventually fell back down. And no, that's a true story. That's true. I just saw Jeff Nelson. I heard Jeff Nelson tell that story the other day on the. I mean, it's something that we were told to keep quiet for years. But, dude, can you imagine if that bus had tipped over? So we knew then, man, we were lucky. Good things are going to happen in '98. It just wasn't meant for us. It wasn't meant for us to end right there. You know what I'm saying?
God, thank God it didn't end like that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I would have a heart attack.
Dude, I mean, some heads were gonna roll behind that deal. Yeah. That was
all right. So then, okay, so you poured champagne all over each other in the clubhouse in San Diego, right? Scott Brocious was clutch, killed Hoffman at the end right there with that. I don't know if that was a fastball or changeup he hit out. It was a 3-run homer. That's against Hoffman, but
Hoffman probably was a changeup. I can't remember either.
So now you're in the clubhouse celebrating, pouring champagne, but then again, the California law is 2 a.m. everything closes, right? I mean,
okay.
So like, where'd you guys go afterwards?
It's crazy because I promise you, man, we went in and out of some places. We weren't there very long. I just don't remember there being a lot of partying afterwards because we stayed on the field forever.
Right. I mean, where else did it go, right? Think about it. I mean, you're away.
Yeah. We were on the road, and man, they had tons of champagne, and a lot of guys didn't even drink from that team. Man, I think we had something like 17 Christians on that team. It was crazy.
The '98 team?
Yeah. It was like where we'd have Bible study, and there would be like 16, 17 guys every time.
Wow.
So guys were mainly just pouring champagne on one another, and man, we were really trying to get back to New York. And one thing I do remember, that next morning we were on the bus. We had the what they call it, police escort.
Yeah.
So we had the police escort, and there's always one cop ahead. So he'd zoom up and block off traffic. We'd meet him. There'd be another guy at the next stop. He'd block off traffic. That was actually pretty cool to see. And as a young man, I was like, oh, man, check out the police escort.
Homer, so when you guys, so that night, did you fly back to New York, or the next morning you flew back to New York?
The next morning.
So the next morning, it was a long flight, but you guys couldn't really sleep. You guys were excited, right? You're like, yeah, we're coming back to the Big Apple right now, right?
Oh, yeah, dude. We couldn't wait to land in New York. Could not wait.
So then when you land to New York, I guess 2 days later, the parade, right? Tell me about the parade. Like, how awesome was that, Homer? That's a completely different atmosphere for you, man. Coming from the Midwest, right? You're like, huh? What, is this how it is? Right? Think about it.
Yeah, dude. I'm telling you, you could see people for blocks and blocks and blocks. Like, I mean, dude, it's hard to describe how powerful that was. And I tell you what, my wife didn't get a chance to come to San Diego.
Man, what kind of man are you, huh? You don't bring your wife to San Diego to the World Series? Come on now, Homer.
No, she had something to do.
Hey, Monica, I got your back on this one, all right? I'm reprimanding him right now for that.
No, we were buying a house, and we didn't know that we were going to win the World Series. And so the wifey went to Texas to take us some business.
Okay.
And we messed around and win the World Series. It was crazy. But then my wife got an opportunity to be on the float with us and take all that in.
All right.
Oh man, it was
So on
crazy.
that float, right? I mean, think about it. You're right on Broadway, going down, and people are waving, going crazy for you guys, right? I mean,
yeah.
It was crazy. I was like, wow. I mean, I was actually at the '98 parade. Matter of fact.
Okay.
Yeah, I was a little punk back then. Still am, but you know. Well, listen, Homer, man. You know, it's so great talking to you. It's an honor to talk to you about the classic moments, how you got there, you know, how you played football and everything. I really appreciate you coming on my show. Remember, it's the Eddie Mata Show. Remember that. Now, I want you to say, Homer, who the hell is Eddie Mata? Just say it that way, because I got this set up because I'm going to talk to a lot of athletes. I just want to say, who the hell is Eddie Mata?
Who the hell is Eddie Mata?
I like that. That's perfect, baby. For all you people.
But before I let you go, I just want to say, man, from the first time I met you, dude, love your energy, love everything you're about, man. And man, hey, I'll come on anytime you have me, because man, I know you're gonna do great things in this arena.
Thank you so much, Homer. Tell everybody I said hello. Listen, also, I just forgot to mention, I know your son is a huge prospect in high school baseball. This is the year that he's supposed to get drafted. I know due to this thing, I don't want to talk negative about it. I see enough of it on the news, but I guess they're giving him an extra eligibility, right? Is that how it works with high school baseball?
No, he's gonna. We're gonna wait to see what happens with the draft, and if that doesn't pan out, where he's gonna go ahead and go to Grand Canyon University in Phoenix.
Okay, well, that's Homer Bush.
Hey.
I'm Eddie Mata, baby. We'll talk later. I'll end the broadcast right now, Homer, but stay with me, all right? Hold on a minute. And broadcast.